Welcome to Embracing Life Again. I'm Catherine Kaufer, transition expert and minister. Together, we'll break through life's toughest barriers, rediscover joy, and start dreaming again. It's time to embrace life fully with purpose, passion, and hope. Welcome to Embracing Life Again. I'm your host, Catherine Kaufer, and I am a transition expert, a minister, and I have a miniature animal therapy team that I work with that brings smiles and hope to everybody. So, to let you know how and why I started this TV show is because I really felt it was important for me to help, to teach, and to equip women how to move and change through tough turning points in their lives, right? You can call it turning points, you can call it transitions, which is what I call it, or you can even call it seasons in life, right? And there's so much being thrown at us right now. And I do specialize in trauma and loss. But right now, PTSD, a lot of other things. So I just feel it's really important to learn from someone who's been in your shoes, knows what you're going through, and to teach you through love and grace, right? We already beat ourselves up enough already, right? And then when people are like, just get over it. It's like, you should be over it by now. It's like, really? Yeah. So I will be helping you if you're stuck and want to get unstuck. This is definitely the show for you. And so in the show, it's going to be up to an hour show. And I will be giving you practical advice, right? Heartfelt stories. And what else? And tools that you can take and every day just improve. Just improve every day, just a little bit. And then also I have another exciting thing to tell you. So I will be interviewing people. I will also be telling stories. I will be interviewing people with stories with my horse and my dog. As they will be on location. So 10 to 20 minutes of the show at the end will be adventures with Zebe, who is my miniature horse, and Theodore, and I call him Theo, who is my miniature Australian Shepherd. And actually, before the show, I'm known as Minnie and Me, because I'm 5'1", I have a minivan, and I have miniature therapy animals, right? So that's why I call it Minnie and Me. So it's fun. I have a lot of fun with it, and it brings me a lot of joy. And that's what I want for you. I want you to learn how to feel joy again, how to dream again. I had to learn all that through my transitions, right? So we will be going over things for being a widow, divorce, being an empty nester, grief, dealing with aging parents and taking care of them and losing them, losing a child. These are all things I've been through. My turning point that really created me being a life transition expert was in 2015. My husband of going to be 29 years was killed instantly by being T-boned at a red light. I didn't know that day. I was with clients. I am a realtor by trade. I grew up in Northern California. We were in Danville, California at the time. And I was with buyers, and he texted me saying, hey, I got home early, wanted to go out for a ride. He was an avid cyclist, right? And it's funny because I look back and I look at the text and I say, sure, because he asked me to pick him up at 7 p.m. that night. And when I said sure and texted it, that's the minute he got hit. Anyway, so I'll go through that in more depth. But going through that and having to be at the hospital and the doctor saying, hey, he is fighting for his life. He doesn't want to be on life support. He won't even make it another half an hour. So we have to, you have to tell us what to do. And I already knew what to do because he had told me weeks before. It's like he had a premonition this was going to happen because he was going to be 55 on his next birthday, which was in June. He died May 5th. And he said, I can't imagine being more than 55. I know where I'm going. So if I'm in an accident and I'm on life support, take me off. I don't want to be here. And you'll be fine. You'll be taken care of. This is what I want for my funeral. This is what I want for everything. And that's why everybody's like, how the heck did you get that done so fast? It's only because he told me what he wanted, which was really important. But after we ended up having so he did last a little over a half an hour, and he was instantly brain dead though. So he had and what happens, which I didn't know at the time, was when you still are breathing, they intubate you when they see you, so he had life support, or life helicopter, I should say, come down, intubate him because he still had a heartbeat. And then they life flighted him off to John Muir Hospital, right? So I knew he was already gone because he was cold already. And I knew it was just the machine keeping his body functioning. I don't even know how well it was functioning. But I wanted it to be long enough for my pastor to come and pray over him while I had them unplug him. And here I'm saying, God, I am not doing this without you. I will not do this without you. You are going to teach me to grieve and teach my girls how to grieve well. Because I don't want to be, a widow for 10 years and you think it just happened, right? I just didn't want that. I knew George, my husband at the time, wanted more for me then, right? He would want me to be happy. He would want me to do my life's purpose. And I'll tell you a story about that too, because that's an amazing story. I have a lot of God stories, just if you're wondering. So that being said, when I got home, my first instinct was like, I've known him since I was 15 years old. I started dating him at 18 years old. We got married when I was 22, right? And then I was 51 when he died. And so I'm like, who am I? Who am I without you? Because those of you that are married, you're like, you get lost, right? And especially me being so young, being married, did I really know who I was, right? Without him? No. So that whole learning process of going through the grief, going through who are you? What's your purpose? How are you going to choose life? How are you going to do that? So we will be going over that. And so it's a good ending, actually. And that's where my horse and my dog come in. So Zebedee, and I think I tell you this, so I will take you on location in a minute, and I will introduce you to Zebedee, my miniature horse, and Theodore, who is my miniature Australian Shepherd. I'll tell you about them. But I look forward to seeing you guys on the other side on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And I plan to make this a fun journey for you, something that you look forward to, that I don't make hard, that you just get a little peace in your heart going, okay, I can do this. I can do this. But the biggest thing is, we have to choose that this is really what we want. This is what is good for us. It's, you know, it's no fun existing. Nah, that's every day the same. Groundhog Day, nah, that's no fun. That's no fun. Living is fun, and it's an adventure. So look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And it is rerun on Fridays at 6 p.m. also. So thank you, take care, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Coming up next, Adventures with Theo and Zebe, right here on Embracing Life Again with Catherine Kaufer.
So I'm now at the barn, and I'm at Zebe's favorite place. So this is Zebedee. He is my 10-year-old miniature horse who I got when he was 1 year old. I actually got him from a gal who had asked me, well, what do you want to do with a mini? And I said, hey, I want to do therapy with a mini. I've always wanted to do that. It's been a childhood dream of mine. Although I didn't know what I'd be doing with a mini, but God knew. So I got him a month before my husband was killed, and he was 1 year old at the time, never had been touched by a human. So to me, that was a really good thing, because he had no bad habits, and he had no bad experiences with humans, right? So I knew he'd be right for the job. So she comes and delivers him an extra large dog crate in the back of her truck. This is how little he was. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? And so he comes off the truck and he's running around like a little madman, and he runs into my big horse, who they just become the fastest buddies. I had no idea how tied to the hip they would be. It's like my horse just took him in like his baby. And, you know, so the one condition of me getting Zebedee is Pam said, you have to call him a biblical name. And I'm like, okay. So I go to bed that night and I'm like, God, I have no idea what name you want for this horse, right? And so I wake up at 11 o'clock and I hear Zebedee, and I'm like, what the heck does Zebedee mean? So I run downstairs, I get into Blue Letter Bible, and I look up the meaning for Zebedee, and I know it's John's and James's dad, right? But I didn't know it meant gift from God. And I'm like, wow, how appropriate is that? And even before my husband was killed, he said, you know, God is totally setting you up for your ministry. You understand that, right? And I said, yes, I do. And so anyway, I trained him, and he's been a registered therapy horse since he was 3 years old. He's allowed to go to any facility with supervision, and only I can handle him. But that's typical. Usually you're considered a therapy team, right? So the therapy team goes out, and that's usually the owner or the handler plus the dog or the horse or the bunny or the cat. It could be any animal, actually. So So that is Zebedee's story. Now I want to introduce you to my other little guy, and he is Theodore. Come here, Theodore. Come here, babe. So Theo, he's a miniature Australian Shepherd. He's freaking adorable. I got him 2 weeks after my husband passed, well, after he was killed. And his story is, hey Theo, look at me. Look at me. You're so cute. His story is that the gal, very hard to find any miniature Australian Shepherds in California. And one of my friends was like, Kath, you know, your other dog is dying. What can you do, right? And I'm like, I've always wanted a mini Australian Shepherd, black, you know, it's called black tri, because they're black, white, and brown, right? She goes, and so a week later, she goes, I found your dog. And I'm like, what? I said, my dog hasn't passed away yet, so I can't have another puppy. So then she goes, well, no, he has to go home with you on Sunday. And I'm like, why? And he goes, I'm like, oh my gosh. She said, call her. Just give her info. And I'm like, okay. So I call her and I say, why is he the last one? And she goes, do you think he's a reject? And she goes, no, he is pick of the litter. What happened is I just got a full ride scholarship for my PhD to be a therapist, and he'd be a perfect therapy dog. That is why I kept him, but I cannot take him to college with me. So I heard your story, and I want you to have him. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I went, saw him with my girls. We all fell in love with them. We brought him home, and she said, okay, he will either help your dog to live, or he'll let her know that she's free to go. So at first, Theo was really good. I mean, he just loved her, and she loved him, and then she lasted 2 more weeks, and then she died. And he was our therapy for our long journey with regards to me being a widow and my girls losing their dad. And so both of these animals have been just instrumental in that, and that's kind of how they were trained through, me going through my grief and my transition, right? So I just wanted to give you their story and their background, and I will talk to you later. You've taken the first step to embracing life again. Let's continue to break barriers, find joy, and dream without limits. Join us next time, and let's discover inspiration through every transition together.